Today, I will tell you about the film Big Ass Spider. Well, if you like our videos, you can support us with a like and a subscription. For you, it's just a couple of seconds. The film greets us with shots of a destroyed city. The army shoots somewhere up, or more precisely at a giant spider, which breaks a helicopter and takes us a couple of days back. Meet Alex, and he is the local disinfector. Mrs. Jeffries decides to hug him and take him to the parasites. Then she rubs in some kind of game and finally gives him something with marmalade and without twigs. When suddenly a spider decides to run along his shoulder. Alex says that this spider is poisonous. You just need to hold still, and it will slide down itself. But Jefferson thinks completely differently, which is why he ends up in a local hospital, where he does not want to talk about what happened to him. In response, the girl calls him a clown, while something in the morgue starts to open the bag. The doctor doesn't notice all this, and it becomes a mini snack. However, in the next frame, he simply comes to the foyer and tells how someone bit him. The guard suggests that it was a zombie, a cat, or a monkey. Then Alex replies that it could have been a spider. You just need to put yourself in the spider's place and start thinking like a spider. And somewhere on the highway at this time, a convoy passes by, heading to this very hospital. Alex has already reached the morgue in an attempt to find the spider. They find some remains. The guard says in a serious tone that the monkey Spider-Man is involved. Alex takes out some powder and tries to think like a spider. In an attempt to find the spider, they break out the ventilation, and Alex asks the guard to squeeze through the ventilation. But since he refuses, Alex has to climb in there himself. The army is already cordoning off the clinic, adding that they accidentally sent the object to this hospital. And in some ward, a spider notices a new treat. Grandpa sees all this and is already trying to press the button, but it's too late and he too becomes a snack. Alex, being a tough nut, makes his way through the ventilation and comes out onto a huge web. The flashlight decides to go out, and because of his incredible intelligence, Alex lights a lighter. But he still gets to some compartment, while a military scientist says that the spider should already have grown 4 times, and that it grows exponentially, which means that every 4 hours it will increase by 25%. But we are given to understand that all this time Alex was on the side of the army and is transmitting everything he managed to learn. The spider decides to throw a can for the sake of distraction. Alex pays the spider a couple of cents for this trick. The spider almost manages to attack Alex, but Carly, who came just in time, protects him. Then the spider decides to catch the homeless man with that very coin, and he does it perfectly. And that same guard says that he will become for Alex what Robin is for Batman, what Cat is for the Green Hornet, or, in extreme cases, what Sancho Pancho is for Don Quixote. The TV is already broadcasting a report with a huge spider, and the scientist says that the 3rd stage of development has already begun. But we are transferred to Alex, who assumes that this is a giant black widow, and they have ideas where to look for this spider. And somewhere in the sewer, a special forces squad is already making its way, having managed to find the spider's lair, where, according to preliminary estimates, there are about 20 cocoons. The scientist notes that the spider has molted again. Alex watches this operation from afar and decides to call and ask if they caught the spider. After which, Joe suggests that the spider may be on the mountain where the entertainment complex is located. The first victim is, as always, some old man. The drone also notices the spider, and it is already the size of a whole tree. Alex is stopped by a policeman, and Alex offers a small donation of $12. Suddenly, a message is transmitted over the radio, and the policeman is forced to let them go. The spider is already in full swing, feasting on everyone who gets in its way. But as always, Alex arrives in time and knocks the spider down. Well, at least he was going to do so, but in the end, he just drives away from it, and the spider runs after him. The whole time they were being watched by a military drone. They also decide to call it to warn it about an ambush, a few meters away from them. But Alex doesn't understand what crossfire means and just drives on. The military opens a salvo from all weapons, but they do not harm the spider in any way. And all because the spider uses the car as a shield and a projectile at the same time. And then it jumps over the military formation in one jump, and the squad goes after them. This can be understood from the video recording. True, from where it is conducted, I do not know, because there are no. The general orders to use thermal grenades, but there is a small problem. The spider has already destroyed almost the entire squad. But Alex, as always, comes to the rescue and frees the girl. And a Sancho Pancho runs out from behind a bush with a gun at the ready, and they manage to drive away the spider. The squad takes advantage of this and runs to the car. But the spider has other plans, and he packs the girl. At the local headquarters, a scientist says that the spider will soon enter the 5th stage. Alex wants to know what this means, but he doesn't particularly like what he hears. The scientist says that this is an arachno-anomaly of alien origin, which occurred during crossing with a microorganism straight from Mars, and all for the sake of a giant tomato that can feed the whole world. The spider was just a small misunderstanding. During an experiment on tomatoes, the spider accidentally hid between the tomatoes, which is why it also received a growth hormone. Alex says that he understands the essence of spiders, and that the spider will not make a nest near a settlement. But in fact, the spider is just running around the local Chinese district, after which he climbs the local city hall. But he didn't particularly like this building, and he finds himself a local skyscraper, the same one from the beginning of the film. And on the helicopter camera, they manage to spot Lieutenant Brand. This information is transmitted to Alex, and the general hands over the key. He adds that Alex has 24 minutes to save the lieutenant. On the way, Sancho Pancho suggests setting the spider on fire. Alex agrees, because they can use this big match. And the general transmits that they have 10 minutes left to go up to the 60th floor. But before they can get there, their car is disabled. When Alex comes to, there is complete devastation everywhere. And to the heroic music, he brings Sancho Pancho back to his senses, and the two of them head to the spider. And thank God, the elevator is still working, but on the floor they need. There are already cocoons everywhere, but even so, they quickly free the lieutenant. But the office worker still goes for a snack, and the mega spider is knocked down, and it falls to the very bottom. And although everyone celebrated the victory, the spider comes to his senses. Sancho Pancho is already running to Alex with a bazooka at the ready, which manages to neutralize the spider. So to speak, transfer it to the 6th stage. We hope you liked this episode. Write about it in the comments, where you will find even more interesting episodes. See you later. Bye.